Today, I aim to bring to your attention to the hazards of ultra-processed foods and stress the significance of adopting healthier dietary choices. In January 2023, my health was rapidly declining. I experienced constant fatigue and had no energy to perform even simple tasks. In February 2023, my health worsened to the point where I had to be taken to the hospital for a complete checkup. I was prescribed statin drugs for my high cholesterol and tablets for my high blood pressure. However, I started experiencing side effects from the statin drugs, leading to an incident where I blacked out and fell to the ground while going to the toilet. This was a wake-up call for me because my health issues were interfering with my ability to work and enjoy my hobbies. I began conducting my own research to improve my well-being. On January 5th, 2023, I came across a BBC article about ultra-processed foods, and I was shocked at what I found there. I realized I had been consuming ultra-processed foods without fully understanding their dangers. Unknowingly, our supermarket shopping included ultra-processed foods in our trolley, such as bread, breakfast cereals, light margarines, soya milk, crisps, biscuits, cakes, ice creams, and sweetened yogurt. Upon scrutinizing the ingredients of the food products I bought, I discovered that they contained harmful chemicals mentioned in the article. We have now entered a new age of eating where most of our calories come from ultra-processed foods, products that are industrially processed, designed and marketed to be addictive. But do we understand what they are doing to our bodies? You may find it hard to consider ultra-processed foods as equivalent to cigarettes, but a poor diet high in ultra-processed foods is linked to more deaths globally than tobacco, high blood pressure, or any other health risk, accounting for 22% of all deaths, according to Chris Tullican, an infectious disease doctor at the Hospital for Tropical Diseases in London. What makes ultra-processed foods distinctive is that they have undergone industrial processes that have altered the nature of the original ingredients, leaving little, if any, of the original whole food behind. Additionally, they often include the addition of industrial chemicals that you would never find in a family home kitchen. These ingredients include soy protein isolate, emulsifiers, artificial colors and flavors, and other additives to make them tastier and prolong their shelf life. Examples of ultra-processed foods include fizzy drinks, store-bought biscuits and cakes, ready meals, reconstituted meat products, breakfast cereals, many baby foods, and sweetened yogurts. In simple terms, I can explain what ultra-processed foods are. When my wife makes bread at home, she uses natural ingredients like wheat flour, water, salt, oil, or yeast. However, industrially made breads for supermarket stores often add emulsifiers and preservatives, making them ultra-processed. Similarly, yogurts containing sweeteners, preservatives, or stabilizers are also classified as ultra-processed. Professor Tim Spector, a professor of epidemiology at King's College London, who studies trends in disease, told BBC Panorama in June 2023. He said, in the last decade, the evidence has been slowly growing that ultra-processed food is harmful to us in ways we hadn't thought. We're talking about a whole variety of cancers, heart disease, strokes, and dementia. Ultra-processed food now makes up as much as 60% of the average diet in the UK and the USA. The standard American diet consists of ultra-processed foods, added sugar, fat, and sodium, a chemical element in salt. Consumption of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, and lean protein is greatly lacking in this diet. In 2014, the Brazilian government took the radical step of advising its citizens to avoid ultra-processed foods. They condemned not just fast foods or sugary snacks, but also many foods that seemed healthy, from light margarines to vitamin-fortified breakfast cereals. The country acted out of a sense of urgency because the number of young Brazilian adults with obesity had risen so fast, more than doubling between 2002 and 2013, from 7.5% of the population to 17.5%. These radical new guidelines urged Brazilians to avoid snacking and to make time for wholesome food in their lives. Ecuador, Uruguay, and Peru followed Brazil's example, urging their citizens to stay clear of ultra-processed foods. Uruguay's dietary guidelines, issued in 2016, told Uruguayans to base their diet on natural foods and avoid the regular consumption of ultra-processed products. In January 2023, one of the most comprehensive studies on ultra-processed food was published in the Lancet Medical Journal. The study of 200,000 UK adults found that higher consumption of ultra-processed foods may be linked to an increased risk of developing cancer overall, and specifically ovarian and brain cancers. After doing much research, I decided to stop eating ultra-processed foods and balanced my diet to lower my cholesterol and blood pressure levels. A few months later, I took my blood test again, and my cholesterol and blood pressure levels were normal. My health had improved overall. Whenever possible, try to avoid and limit ultra-processed foods. One way to reduce ultra-processed food is by prioritizing foods like fruit and vegetables, both fresh and frozen, dried fruits and nuts with no added sugar, salt, or oil, pulses and legumes such as chickpeas and lentils, spices and herbs. Other actions you can take to cut back on ultra-processed foods are cooking at home as often as you can. Instead of buying ready meals, cook your favorites in larger amounts and freeze them to use another day. Instead of flavored yogurts with added sugar or sweeteners, choose plain yogurt and add your own chopped fresh, frozen, or dried fruit for sweetness. Have porridge in the morning with fruit and nuts instead of sugary, low-fiber breakfast cereals. Along with this, exercising regularly and not smoking has been shown to be beneficial for lowering the risk of heart and circulatory disease. Shilpa Ravela, assistant professor of medicine at Columbia University Medical Center, says, food choices are the most important cause of poor health in the United States. 7 out of 10 deaths are caused by chronic diseases like cancer, type 2 diabetes, and heart disease, which can be prevented and treated with a healthy diet. Eating healthfully is one of the foundations of good health. Even when medication is required, it's important to emphasize to patients that medication alone can't do it all. Optimal health will always require attention to nutrition and lifestyle, says Dr. Stephen D. Fries, a preventive cardiologist. We don't knowingly choose disease, but we do choose diets and lifestyle that lead to diseases. If you fill your body with the right kind of food, you will increase your health and vitality, improve your sense of well-being, and reduce the risk of serious illnesses. I trust that this discussion proves both informative and impactful, effectively emphasizing the significance of steering clear of ultra-processed foods while encouraging healthier food choices.